Peace force in Gaza and the UK's revolving immigration door. It's 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV. 5 things you need to know in about 10 minutes for Friday, November 7th, 2025. I'm Derek Gilbert. Please follow us on Telegram. We've got a new channel there. If you've got the Telegram app, just do a search for the 5 in 10 channel. Please subscribe. If you don't have it, go to t.me/5 in 10. And also, please follow us on X, formerly Twitter. Our handle there at 5_in_10. Item number 5 today, New York City. As you know, socialist, communist, Zohran Mamdani will be the next mayor of New York City. His political rise seemed to come out of nowhere, sort of like Barack Obama back in 2008. But like Barack Obama, his rise was engineered, in large part by the woman you see on the screen next to Mamdani there, Linda Sarsour, a well-known Muslim activist who, according to a Fox News investigation, is kind of at the center of a group of organizations that helped fund and promote his rise. A database of 110 groups backing Mamdani shows that there's a tight circle of organizations that identify as either socialist or Muslim, working hand in glove with about 76 Democratic Party affiliates, allied groups and unions. And particularly important, there are 2 networks that are run by Sarsour. Sarsour's M-Power, Empower, it's play on words, M, Muslim Power, M-Power, and another group called Engage, with which she works closely. And those organizations have been funded to the tune of about $2.5 million by George Soros' Open Society philanthropies over the last few years. Altogether, all of these groups, the 110 organizations, annual revenues of about $24 million, with which they funded Mamdani's campaign, with endorsements, fundraising, social media campaigns, which they used brilliantly, and canvassing. And as a result, they've got a carefully constructed political career, putting forward this fresh, smiling face, appealing to young women. According to exit polls, women 18 to 29 who voted in the New York City mayoral election went for Mamdani as opposed to Andrew Cuomo or Curtis Sliwa. Some of those women, I saw a video clip just celebrating the fact that the Islamic Caliphate of New York is about to begin. They truly do not understand who or what they voted for. But sadly, that's true in many political campaigns. In the age of social media, a 2-minute TikTok video will do more for you than a 2-hour debate. It's this machine is putting forward this man, and as I've said, now we've got the three largest cities in America, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, all being governed by socialist mayors. Now, is this a disaster for New York City? Maybe. Time will tell. The mayor has a lot of power, but he does not hold ultimate power. It remains to be seen how he manages to wield the levers of power inside New York City. But again, as we've said, polls show that up to 1 million New Yorkers are looking to leave, and there are realtors in Miami who are getting a lot of phone calls. News report from Miami, a lot of realtors in Miami getting phone calls from New Yorkers looking to relocate to the Sunshine State. Item number 4 today, Israel. As we told you this week, the United States putting forward a draft proposal to the UN Security Council for an international stabilization force in Gaza. This would try to keep the peace in Gaza while a new government is established that is not supposed to have Hamas as part of its government. Hamas, as we've told you, however, has already appointed half of the 50-member panel that's supposed to govern Gaza, and this with the full knowledge and consent of the Palestinian Authority, Egypt, and Qatar. And as we've been seeing, Hamas has been violently asserting its control over the Gaza Strip since the ceasefire went into effect, which has been violated numerous times by Hamas. The videos of Hamas, which were released to basically show people what happens if you are disloyal, the public executions, the breaking of legs with iron bars, that has stopped. It's not that the actions have stopped, it's just the videos were generating pushback from the Western world. It's like, hey, that looks bad. So Hamas is continuing its campaign of terror over the citizens of Gaza, but just not showing the rest of the world what they're doing. Meanwhile, Kazakhstan has announced it's become the latest Muslim-majority nation to join the Abraham Accords. Now, Israel and Kazakhstan have had full diplomatic relations since 1992, but there will be benefits to both sides here. Kazakhstan has a lot of rare earth minerals, and Israel has a robust tech sector. So benefits to both sides there. And the fact that another Muslim-majority nation has signed on may encourage others to likewise sign on to the Abraham Accords, Kazakhstan being the first nation to become part of the Abraham Accords with Israel since President Trump's first term in office. Item number 3 today, to the United Kingdom. They are paying illegal immigrants thousands of pounds to self-deport. The problem is, since they've got open borders, many of these migrants who are taking the money to self-deport are just turning around and coming right back. The Home Office's Assisted Voluntary Return Program offers cash and a free plane ticket to their destination of choice to return to their homelands. But again, many of them are turning around and coming back. As an example, the Daily Mail reported on one illegal immigrant given £3,000 and a free plane ticket to return home in December of last year, or the autumn of last year, and he came back in January. And he's now working as a grocery delivery driver. He basically got a free Christmas vacation, courtesy of the taxpayers of the United Kingdom. Many of them are returning through Ireland because it's very easy to get into Britain from Belfast, which is a city in Northern Ireland, according to one online post. Quote, go to France. From France, you go to Dublin. In Dublin, take a bus to Belfast. From there, you take a bus to Glasgow. And finally, to London. End quote. And then they're back in the country. They basically get £3,000, plane ticket, go visit relatives, and then come on back. This is not a problem strictly of the Labour government, because this kind of thing, the open borders, began under the previous government of Rishi Sunak. And frankly, the voters in the UK are getting sick of it, which is why Reform UK, the party headed up by Nigel Farage, is leading in the polls right now. Next election is going to be very, very interesting in the UK. Item number 2, the economy. Talked this week about major retailers Walmart and Amazon cutting thousands of jobs as artificial intelligence reportedly being used to automate jobs, inventory management, things like that were formerly held by humans. But it may also be just a way to explain away poor earnings. Another troubling sign for the economy, the median age now for a first-time home buyer in the United States has risen to 40. That's an all-time high. I will repeat. The median age for first-time home buyers in the United States is now 40. My dad was 30 when he bought his first home. I was 35. That was in the 90s. Now it's risen to the age of 40, which is the highest it's ever been since the National Association of Realtors began tracking this figure. The median age for all home buyers is now increased to 59. That is up from 56 last year. And first-time home buyers now make up only 21% of the market share. That's down from 24% last year. But before the Great Recession of 2008, 2009, first-time homebuyers made up 40% of the home buying market. This is sad because young adults, the age of my daughter, she's 35, and she's looking at the possibility of buying a home and just saying that's just not in the cards anytime soon. That's not a good sign for the economy. And every time the government tries to do something to make it simpler, it just makes things worse. Again, not a good sign for the economy, and sadly, a very discouraging sign for people who want to buy a home and begin building equity in something. Coming up, how not to promote your product, especially when you're on camera in the Oval Office. That's next on 5 and 10.
This is how we're going to raise a remnant, a body of Christ that's going to stand in the gap for these kids that are voiceless. These kids have no voice. They have no champion. We're going to change that. The book, Innocent Shattered, it points out the malevolent industries that are exploiting our children. It gets into how in the world, Alan, these kids can be coming up missing without a chain of custody. If you were to ask me, Joe Horn, with all the years that you've been working with children, and you've looked into the eyes of those that have been absolutely devastated, ravaged by abuse from malevolent people who have taken pleasure in the screams of terror exhaled. Innocence completely stripped before it's even had a chance to find its calling. I believe that that is precisely why Lucifer has waged this war on children in particular, because if they never find why God put them here, he intercepts and snuffs out another warrior for the kingdom. Kids that have experienced this have experienced a lot of it at the malevolent hands of people that are evil. These are people that have given themselves over to Luciferian powers. These are people that take delight in the suffering of children. The average, based on the most intelligent aggregators of information that we have in the United States right now, place it at about 11 to 12 children per day from foster care alone, not the vast population of kids growing up in homes where they haven't been removed yet or coming up missing. No clue where they've gone, they're just gone. Many who will end up being classified as runaway. People feel stirred by it, they want to support you, but they themselves don't feel that they have what it takes to endure barrage after barrage of just the worst parts of humanity. It's in the book, Innocence Shattered. There is a ton of beautiful information, and people just aren't seeing it for the most part because they're not taking the chance. There is an appendix that goes on and on and on about some of the most beautiful ways that people can intervene. And I'm talking anybody, Alan. I don't care if you're grandmother on a pension. I don't care if you're a man that has billions of dollars in land. There is something rather more than just anecdotal praying once a week that you can throw at this. And it is available in this book. Again, a series of thought exercises that help guide the reader through the process of giving God your yes and a belief in how you really, really can make a difference. Wow. So yes, it's an ugly conversation that almost nobody wants to have, but it's the responsibility of the church to have it because we can't wait for the world to do it. The Holy Spirit can show up in a supernatural way and do things for these children that nothing else can do. It's a supernatural battle, and it is time for the church to say enough. Not one more kid in a dog cage, not one more kid out there lost, not one more child not being fed today, not on my watch.
Item number 1 today, how not to promote your product. On Tuesday, President Trump held a press conference in the Oval Office to announce that the administration would be making weight loss drugs like Ozempic more affordable. But the announcement was overshadowed by the fact that a representative of the company making Ozempic collapsed. As you see on the screen there, President Trump looking as the gentleman who's being attended to, Dr. Mehmet Oz, was in the group there, and he was one who was helping with the gentleman who collapsed. Press conference momentarily delayed while they shuttled everybody out of the room. When they came back in, President Trump said the attendee just got a little lightheaded. Not immediately clear what happened, but it is not uncommon for people at these events to collapse. I mean, you're standing there for a long time, a crowded room, gets warm, the lights, the cameras, etc. In fact, Dr. Oz, when he was being sworn in for his job earlier this year, had to interrupt the ceremony because his 11-year-old granddaughter just keeled over. But again, when you're there to talk about your product and you collapse on screen, it's not a good look. This week on Skywatch TV, I was honored to sit in as the host as we interviewed Joe Artis Horn, the usual host for Skywatch TV, about his important new book, Innocence Shattered. This is about child trafficking and how many children are at risk in these United States, and for what? We can point our fingers at other nations and say, well, they do it and they do. This is happening in our backyard. This is happening in our communities, and we need to wake up to what's happening. That's why this book is important, and we encourage you to watch the program. You can see it right now at our website, skywatchtv.com. You can also see it over the air. Our broadcast schedule is posted at skywatchtv.com/channels. Now, you can also watch it on your schedule, either through set-top box or smart TV, Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, or by downloading our free mobile app to your smartphone or tablet. It's available for iOS, Android, and Amazon Kindle Fire devices. And we've got links to their app stores at skywatchtv.com/app. Please follow 5 in 10 online. Again, Telegram, our new channel there, t.me/5 in 10. On YouTube at 5 in 10. If you would, please subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications, hit the like button. And on X, formerly Twitter, at 5_in_10. And thank you for watching. As we keep watch, have a blessed weekend. I'm Derek Gilbert. This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.